Hello everyone, welcome to my Incredible Chess channel. Yesterday, Chess Super League has started thanks to Samay, Raina and Sagar bhai. This big event is happening in India. The top players from India and abroad are playing in this tournament and it is such a great treat for all of us. Well, on the first day, Brutal Bishops against Kingslayers match was there and Brutal Bishops actually won very smoothly. And in this match, Vidit Gujrathi, our favorite, you can say our superstar, was playing against India's very strong grandmaster SP Sethuraman, and the way he has played, means Vidit has played, is truly amazing. He showed why he is considered as one of the best players in the world because he showed great positional understanding, and the way he played, it is truly magical. Means he made it look very smooth. Well, his advantage was very small. Any normal player will not even be able to win in that position, but Vidit is Vidit, and he can find out some great ideas even from the positions where it seems like okay, nothing is going to happen. So guys, we are going to look at this game slowly and gradually, so stay tuned with me till the end and enjoy how Vidit Gujrathi grinded down his opponent SP Sethuraman. Well, in this game, Vidit was white and Sethuraman was black. Before we go further, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you are new here. Vidit started with d4. His opponent played d5, Sethu. Then c4, e6, knight to f3, knight f6, knight c3. Well, this is the Queen's Gambit declined. Bishop e7 was played. Now here there are two main lines, bishop f4 and bishop g5. And also e3 is also a possibility. Okay. Well, we all know this thing that bishop f4 is considered as one of the most solid options in this position, which Vidit has gone for. Castling e3. Maybe he selected this option because Sethuraman is known for his attacking play and he wanted to keep the waters calm, you can say. That's why he went for this thing. Knight d7, and now he played c5. The idea of c5 is like maintaining the tension in the center of the board and maintaining this pawn change. If white manages to maintain this pawn change, then white will be having lot of space advantage in this game. Okay, so now black plays knight h5 trying to get rid of this bishop. Vidit says like, I'm not going to move that bishop anywhere. If you want to capture, you capture it. I'm just going to control the e5 square with my knight. And one more thing is also there, when the knight will be capturing on f4, although the pawn will be doubled, but white will be having more control on the central square, that is e5. Okay, now he plays bishop e2, just continuing with the development. Black played b6, trying to undermine the pawn structure, but Vidit says like, I'm not going to move my pawn anywhere. c5 pawn is going to be there forever. Okay, so he plays b4, supporting the pawn. Then a5, again attacking the base of the pawn. What are you going to do? Vidit says, I'm just going to support my pawn. So here, this is called as the V setup. And when I was young, I used to play this setup quite a lot. And white's position is pretty good. Okay, knight captures on f4, e captures of f4. Now, as I said earlier, e5 is more controlled from the white side. c6, okay, like because c6 is played in order to stop b5 or c6 maybe, which might be happening in future, because black's light square bishop is not having any squares, and after b6 this bishop can be coming on a6 square. So okay, all these plannings are there. With this is like, I'm going to castle. Bishop a6 is played in order to exchange the bishop. Here queen c2, just connecting the rooks in this position. Bishop captures e2, knight captures e2. Okay, and now bishop f6. Well, the pawn on d4 is very well protected. Vidit doesn't need to worry about anything, but he says like, okay, I'll play g3 and consolidate everything on this side of the board. Okay, and you can already see that these pawns are there unless and until black opens up the position on the queen side. The this side is not going to be opened so easily. Okay, so here queen c7, and as they say that when you have significant plus position or some advantage on one side of the board, and if your opponent is guarding on that side of the board with all his pieces, you cannot really make any progress. So in that case, what do? You open the second front. It is called as the principle of two weaknesses. So white is having some, means black is having some weaknesses here, but white says like, okay, I have good play on the queen side. What I need to do, I need to play on the king side. So in order to open up the king side, he plays h4. Okay, so queen b7, remember this principle. Okay, principle of two weaknesses, or playing on the second front. One front is already done, second front is going on. So here queen b7, king g2. Why are you playing queen g2? Well, Vidit wants to play rook to h1 so that it will be doing some great job if the h file opens up. We'll see what happens. g6, okay, now he plays h5, inviting black to capture the pawn on h5, because if he captures, it's obvious, rook h1, the king g2's idea, rook h1 and this pawn will fall, followed by the h7 pawn is also under attack. So that's not going to happen. ab4 was played, he captures ab4. Now the rooks were also exchanged, rook into a1, rook into a1, and now Sethu says rook a8. Now the rooks can be exchanged, and if he moves the rook anywhere, okay, rook h1 or any side, black will be getting the complete control of the a file. So with this says, like, I'm not going to give you any control on the a file because that is the only open file in this game. Okay, so it says rook a4. If you capture, my queen might be like activated. So black plays b5. He said like, okay, you have to capture my rook on a8. So with it says like, okay, I'm capturing queen into a8, h into g6, h into g6. As the rooks are off the board, it looks like, okay, how white is going to get anything from the position, because this bishop is not a very bad bishop, because you can see by normal color strategy which we have learned until now, that pawns are on the light square, the bishop is dark square, so this bishop should be good enough. But one more thing we need to understand, that white's pawns are here on the dark square. Okay, only weakness in white's camp is the d4 pawn. As long as white is going to control the d4 weakness, white will not have any problem in this situation, and this bishop might get little bit sad after some time. We'll check it out. Stay tuned with me. He plays queen b2, stopping all these entry squares from opponent's queen. Now bishop to d8. Okay, then knight e5, centralizing the knight, knight f8. See, one more thing I would like to tell you. Whenever you capture, here white has two options. ef4 is there, means this is one of the option, and f into e5 is there, and d into e5 is there, and d into e5 is better because this knight will be going towards the d4 square, and then the c6 pawn will be a weakness. And another thing is there, that if the queens are exchanged in this position, then black will be in big trouble, because the c6 pawn will not be defended by the bishop on d8, because completely opposite color bishop is there, means color is there. Okay, so black needs to be very, very careful in this position. So knight f8. Now small advantage is there from Vidit's side. He is having a nicely placed knight in the center of the board. Opponent is having c6 as a weakness. Now let's see how Vidit gets the chance, how he creates his own chances. Knight f8, knight c1. Okay, maybe this knight might be going towards the a5 square if it is needed, and attack the pawn on c6. Okay, so f6, dislodging the knight from the center of the board. Very good strategy. Knight d3, just being there in the center. Queen a4, knight b3. As I said earlier, knight might be going to a5, and it is also stopping everything. Knight d3 was also a good choice, because now b4 pawn is protected. Otherwise, if you had played knight f3, then the b4 pawn would have been hanging, and knight b3 was not any possibility in that situation. King f7. Now he plays queen to b1. The idea of queen b1 is like, maybe white can transfer the queen on the this side of the board, king side. So knight d7. First of all, if you want to play queen h1, we need to remove the knight from d3 square. So he plays knight d2. Now queen a3, attacking the knight on d3, and it feels like, okay, black is getting a lot of play in this situation, and that is true. Black is getting some play because the queen is active in this position, but with his plays calmly, and he plays queen to c2 in this situation, bishop c7, and now he plays knight f3. Slowly and gradually he is moving his pieces towards the other side of the board. Okay, now only thing is that this pawn on f6 is the main defender from black side. You will ask me how. Well, this pawn is there, it means the e5 square is guarded, and white's only jumping spot in the center of the board is controlled by that pawn. So we need to remove that pawn. Okay, so queen 8, he goes behind, and now how will you remove that pawn? You need to exchange that pawn, right? So with his spots this thing, he plays g4, queen b8, queen c1, supporting this pawn, because it was being attacked by two pieces. So with this supports the pawn on f4. Okay, and after queen to a8, now g5. Finally, he needs to do something. If he capture here, of course, like e5 square is gone, and I can even go for knight g5, and this pawn will also be under attack. But he did not go for that thing. He played f5, not opening up anything on this side of the board. Queen h1, trying to get the queen into the game with queen h7, queen g8, stopping everything. He again moves to the other side. Like queen to the right, queen to the left, he's confusing his opponent. Queen c8, and now he plays queen h1, and once again queen g8, and now he gives the check. Okay, knight into e5, d into e5. Well, f into e5 was also possible, but as I said, d into e5 is good because the knight will be going to d4 square and the pawn on c6 will be a weakness. Okay, exactly that's what happened in the game. I'll show you how. King e7, he plays queen h6. Okay, then bishop to d8, king f1, going into the safe corners, you can say. Bishop c7, king e2, centralizing the king. Here king d3, and now bishop c7, knight d4. Vidit is playing slowly and gradually. He's not allowing his opponent to go anywhere because this queen on g8 is stuck to the defense of the g6 pawn, and queen on h6, well, it can always come back on h1, a1 and do something on this side of the board. So the plans are there. Black is too much passive in this position and white is having amazing situation. He plays king d7, queen h1, again going towards the queen side. Bishop b8, queen a1 and queen c8, and now plays queen a8. Now pawn on c6 is under attack by two pieces, knight as well as the queen, and well, bishop c7 if you play, then queen captures c8, king captures c8, and the pawn on c6 will be falling, followed by knight will come back and the e6 pawn or the b5 pawn will also fall, and white will definitely win that game. Okay, but okay, he plays queen c7, and now can you spot the last tactic in this game? Well, Vidit played knight captures c6 and the game is over. Queen into c6 and now plays queen b8, and the funny part is queen is not having any squares to go around. Queen d6 check is going to come and the queens will be exchanged, and resulting pawn endgame is just lost for Sethu here. Queen a6, queen d6 check, and this pawn endgame is just winning because king will be entering into the game. E6 pawn will fall. He plays king c6, king d4. The idea is quite clear, going here and just waiting. So I'll just show you, like, if he plays this move, king here, and black is in zugzwang. He doesn't have any moves to play around because king needs to move somewhere, and once the king will move, well, we have to be a little bit careful here. Okay, if the king moves back, we cannot just simply capture this pawn. Okay, we can capture, but we have to be careful. So I will prefer playing c6 move rather than giving any chance for opponent to go for the d4 kind of a move. Now this might be played, and now we can capture as our pawn is already advanced. Now if he pushes the pawn, we can give the check. The king will go here. We can push the king. If you push the pawn, then give a check here, and then pawn will queen, and white will win the game because the pawn will fall, and okay, queen of position, it's just eliminatory win. So very smooth game played by Vidit here, and I really love the way he played. He kept on pressurizing his opponent. Opponent was completely cramped in the position in his own camp, and beautiful game. I hope you like this game. Do subscribe to my channel, do like this video and share this video with your friends also. See you then next time. Bye bye, take care.